So manipulation of formulae is very doable because if you know how to solve, you automatically know how to do manipulation of formulae. So phrases you might hear is make X the subject of the formula. You might hear express X in terms of the other variables. So I've written two tips here. Get rid of any fractions first by cross multiplying, and then get the required variable on its own. So let's go straight to the first example, and I can explain this a little bit better. So it says if 3y plus c equals t, make y the subject of the formula. So what they're really asking you to do here, I mean, to manipulate means to kind of change or have an influence on. So here we want to change or influence the sentence so that y is the subject. In other words, y is the one on its own. So it's very, very similar to solving because when we're solving for x, we want x on its own. So how do we do that? Well, it's the same rules, opposite side, opposite job. So if I want to make y the subject, I'm going to move away the c. Here it's adding, so over on the right, it's going to subtract. 3, I need to get rid of the 3. The job of the 3 is multiplying, so his new job would be division, so he goes underneath, and that's me done. So manipulation of formulae is like solving for a particular letter when you have a whole load of other letters in the picture. So let's try another one. So P is equal to 2L plus 2W. Make W the subject of the formula. So our aim here is to get W on its own. So the usual method is, we move everything away, starting with those least attached. So I want W on its own, so I need to get rid of the 2L and I need to get rid of the 2. I start with the one furthest away, so I get rid of the 2L. It's going to be minus 2L. Feel free to put the little plus there if you get confused. And that's equal to 2W. Now, to get W completely on its own, I have to move the 2. The job of the 2 is multiplying the W. So opposite side, opposite job, job of dividing. And again, we're done. If they are asking you to make W the subject of the formula, that's the one that you have to have on its own. It could be on the right or the left. That actually doesn't matter. Okay, E is equal to mc squared. Express C in terms of the other variables. So I need to get C on its own. So I need to move the m and I need to move the squared. So I'm going to start by moving the m. The job of the m is multiplying, so his new job would be dividing. Now, how can I get rid of squares? So what's the opposite of squaring? Square rooting. So that is why the square root goes there. And again, I am done. In this next one, we have a fraction, and I want to express m in terms of the other variables. So if you ever have a fraction on one side and you don't on the other, it's a good idea to make everything a fraction. So we're going to pop t over 1, and we're going to then cross multiply. So cross multiplying is such a good technique for getting rid of fractions. So we multiply t times s and 1 times mc squared. Now, remember, I'm aiming for getting the m on its own. So the next thing I'm going to do is get rid of the square. The opposite of squaring is square root of ts. And then to get m totally on its own, I'm going to have to move the c. The job of the c was multiplying, so its new job is dividing. And there it is underneath. So my aim was to get m on its own, and indeed I have done that there. Okay, what about this one? So I need to get t on its own. So I start by wanting to move away the square root. The opposite of square root is squaring. So that's why I now have a square there. I want to get rid of the 3. The 3 is multiplying the t. So if I move him, he's going to divide. There he is, and it's job done. Now, this is kind of the hardest it gets. So you might notice in this one, sorry, I've taken a bit of a shortcut here. So over here, I've put down what I want to make the subject of the formula. Might have done it back there as well, did I? I did. So I just took a bit of a shortcut. So instead of writing the full sentence, express M in terms of the other variables, I just kind of did this just to save myself writing it down actually. So in this case, I want to make T the subject of the formula. Now, notice we have more than one T. So the technique here is going to be the technique of factorizing. So what we're going to do is we're going to factorize out the T first. That leaves us with A plus D. And now to get T on its own, I need to move away this bracket. If it's next to the T, it's multiplying the T. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing, and hence that goes underneath. And now I'm done. Please don't be tempted there either to cancel the D's. So do not do that. Okay, it's really important. We do not do that. We cannot just cancel pieces of numbers. We can only cancel if we factorize, and then the entire expression cancels with an entire expression. So we'll have a quick look at this one. So we want to make G the subject of the formula. I can see there is more than one G, but also there is a fraction. So the very first thing is to make him into a fraction also. Cross multiply. This gets rid of all fractions. So F times G plus H, 1 times GH, which is just GH. So I have F times G and F times H is equal to GH. Now I'm trying to make G the subject of the formulae. So I really need to bring the G's together first. So I'm going to just put them over here, I think, on the left, and I'll move away the FH. Then or actually, do you know what? It might be easier to do it the other way now that I think about it, because the FH can be kept positive if I do it this way. It doesn't really matter. It's the same, but you know, I suppose wherever we can avoid negatives, we will do that. So I'm going to factorize out the G, and I'm left with H minus F. And then to get G on its own, that was multiplying, so now it's going to divide. So that's your manipulation of formulae. As I say, those harder ones are the ones where there is more than one of the letters. And the technique is, and you can see it again here, the kind of trick is that you are going to factorize. Okay, so I'll give you some questions to try on that as well.